Philippines doesn't know yet what is RSV. So, if you look at this virus, this is a virus more or less causing respiratory tract infections. Okay. So before I proceed, this is my disclaimer, and this is how I will go through the discussion. We'll discuss what is this virus is all about, but we will focus on the most vulnerable population for which this particular RSV virus can really kill and cause a lot of problems. Okay, and I'm talking about the senior citizen and those with comorbidities. So these are the two very important populations. And the last part, we'll just be discussing about how do we know that you have RSV? Is there treatment for that? Is there a way to prevent it? Something like that. And we will discuss that also. Okay. So RSV is the virus. And what do you call the infection that is caused by this virus? Of course, it's an RSV infection. So if you look at how this virus behaves, if you're familiar with flu, who's familiar with flu? Influenza. Okay. Of course, all of you are familiar with COVID. Yeah. So most of these viruses starts with a mild type of infection. No? Yung sore throat, masakit ang katawan, okay? Nasal congestion, and then a lot of these patients will also have fever. That's how virus behave. But there is a segment or the part of the course of this viral infection that they will go into a severe form of the infection. And when you look at severity of a viral infection, just like what we have experienced with flu or even COVID, sino ba yung natatamaan at magiging severe? Senior citizens. Our experience with COVID will really be a draft back of why we are really looking at this particular virus probably as the next most important virus after COVID, after influenza. Okay? Aside from that, when these people become severe, there's also a lot of higher risk for mortality. Okay. So how does this infection spread? Okay. Just like your viral infection like COVID, it can be spread within 3 feet. If the person is infected, has a symptom, coughing, sneezing, you can get it. But there is also a possibility that any one of us here may be carrying the virus, and we don't know that that virus is already spreading here in this particular room. Diba? Bakit nagiging awareness ang mga ganitong virus? Because of the relaxation of the COVID protocol. Hindi na tayo mag-face mask no? And that's why when you look at co-circulation of other viruses, nakikita natin yan after COVID pandemic. Lumalabas ang influenza, lumalabas ang RSV because hindi na tayo nag-face mask. No? And that's why most of the source of this infection can be transmitting this to their own household family members. Okay? And same as that one, we had that experience with COVID. So, if you're familiar with RO, what is RO? RO is defined as something that ability of once you are infected, how many possible people that you are or you can infect within that vicinity of 3 feet or 4 feet that you are highly infectious. That's between 2 to 3. You know? Ang pinaka-highest na RO na highly contagious is what? Measles. Measles is 16. Okay, but during the peak of the Delta and the Alpha virus, in some countries, there was, the peak of RO of COVID was 9 to 12. Okay, so ganun yan. Ito, 2 to 3, because we are not in a pandemic type of RSV as of now. No? Sana naman hindi maging ganon. No? But the 2 to 3 is already something that you need to look up because 2 to 3 here is that you are vulnerable, you are in the elderly population, and you have comorbidities. Okay, so is RSV present in the Philippines? Yes, matagal na to, no? So kung titingnan mo itong mga data na to, this was 2010 to 2013, no? And if you look closely on this data, you'll notice that it can also occur. Kasama siya sa influenza. during those months na gumawa ng surveillance, no? And ang influenza season natin is usually July. It starts with July, August, and then it peaks October, November, and December. So the same as that with your RSV. Ganon yung peak niya. It can co-circulate also with influenza. And that's why it's so difficult for us to differentiate a person having the same symptoms during this span of a month or during this span of a year, which is influenza and which is RSV, or even which is COVID. So that's the difficulty with differentiating any of this. Pero talagang during rainy season, that's the part of where you need to look at higher peak of this what we call influenza-like illnesses. You remember last year, 2023, September, October, the Department of Health made an alarm that there was an increase, significant increase of influenza-like illnesses. Do you remember that last year? One of the viruses that was also isolated, aside from influenza and COVID, was RSV during that time. Okay, so you would expect that another cycle of the month this year, starting August, September, you will have another influenza-like season. Most likely there will be an RSV in those surveillance. So what is the burden of RSV among senior citizens? Paano to kalala? Anong mga komplikasyon ng RSV pag natamaan ang isang senior citizen or those with comorbidities? Okay. Before, we thought that RSV is only present among children, okay? The less than 5 years old. Always look into that, no? The most vulnerable population in children is the less than 5 years old. So, titingnan mo yun sa WHO, priority in terms of vaccine-preventable diseases is the less than 5 years old. But now we're looking at also the extreme of age, the extreme of less than 5 years old, which is now the 60 years old and above. These are the elderly population. That's how we define elderly population. So it can also, as bad as that, especially if it affects the elderly population. Titingnan mo tong hospitalization. That's how we usually look at it, no? Severity. Ilan ang napunta sa hospital? Hindi lang doon sa bahay. Kasi kung sa bahay and you recovered, okay lang yan. That's good. But if you had this infection and you were brought to the hospital, and then that's something that will entail higher risk of what? Mortality and complication. So 60,000 to 160,000 were hospitalized compared to the less than 5 years old, 58,000 to 80,000. And among those hospitalized, you look at the death, 6,000 to 10,000 deaths. So hindi siya biro because merong namamatay at sa hospital. Okay. So what will make this virus so dreadful among the elderly? Hindi lang siya virus because it's causing sore throat or causing sipon, nasal congestion. It can also cause what? Lung infection, pneumonia. It can also cause exacerbation of certain comorbidities. No? Mamaya, si Dr. Lenny will also discuss a patient with comorbidity, paano nagiging lumala ang comorbidity, kagaya ng asthma, kagaya ng COPD, to the point that they can also die because of the infection. Okay. Cardiovascular complications. Itong palagi natin binabantayan because a lot of times, no, sa mga pasyente namin, pag pumupunta sa hospital yan, inatake sa puso. But we always look at the point that when meron siyang atake sa puso, what triggers the heart attack? Okay. A lot of times, akala nila hindi lang uminom ng gamot. That's also a factor. But one of the most common trigger of a heart attack is infection. And one of those infections is a viral infection. Kasama na dito ang RSV. And that's why they go to the hospital, they die because of the heart attack, they die because of stroke, but the trigger there was the infection. Okay. So, in the Philippines, as what we have mentioned a while ago, the senior citizen, this is the population of senior citizens in the Philippines. It's 9.2 million, 60 years old and above. This is the vulnerable population in the Philippines. And half of that, or more than half of that, have high-risk comorbidity. Sino ang alam nyo dito na 60 years old pero walang comorbidity? 60 years old na healthy, ha? Sino bang 60 years old dito? Ako, I'm 60 years old. Ikaw, ma'am, healthy, wala kang maintenance. Good. Sino bang 60 years old? Because a lot of times, yung 60 years old na yan, may kasamang comorbidities yan. No? Rarely we see a healthy 60 years old. Alam ni Dr. Sandy yan, no? Specialista ng mga matanda, sasabihin din niya yan mamaya. So ano itong mga comorbidities, no? High blood pressure, okay? Diabetes, yung mga may karamdaman sa lungs, okay? Malignancy, no? So these are some of the comorbidities na babantayan natin because the presence of these comorbidities doubles the risk of you getting the infection plus your age. Okay, so we now discuss comorbidities together with the elderly population. Okay. So this is a nice data, no? Because if you knew about influenza that it can also cause complications in the lungs, complications that will lead us to hospitalization and death. Nakita dito sa global data na mas malala ang RSV. The RSV is in the green side, the black side is the influenza. So in terms of lower respiratory complications, 52% sa RSV, 49% sa influenza. So mas mataas ang RSV. Sa bacterial infection, super infection, mas mataas din ang RSV. And look at the cardiac complications. No? 31% for those with RSV, and then 24% for those with influenza. Of course, hospitalization is also higher. No? So, ang messaging dito is that don't take it for granted na RSV lang yan. Just like influenza before, a lot of our patients, akala lang nila ang influenza ay sipon lang at sore throat. Okay? We don't give influenza vaccine to prevent sore throat or to prevent nasal congestion. We give vaccine because we don't want you to be hospitalized or die because of these complications. That's the priority why we are giving influenza vaccine. Okay. So 5 out of 10 adults with RSV, okay, will develop respiratory complications. Ano itong mga respiratory complications? Pwedeng ikamatay, no? Mag-respiratory failure, mag-respiratory distress. Okay? And then 3 out of 10 of adults with RSV will develop heart complications. Dalawang komplikasyon na pwedeng ikamatay because of a viral infection. Okay. So, idiin pa natin, bakit importante na you need to know your comorbidities? Because RSV is higher in asthma patients, twice higher. So if you have asthma, you are more prone to get RSV infection, twice compared to those without asthma. If you have a heart disease or if you are diabetic, you are 6 times higher to get an RSV compared without those conditions. And if you are a COPD patient, you are 13 times higher. Okay, so that's something that we need to look at because kung meron kang ganitong mga pasyente, then sila yung i-prioritize mo to diagnose, manage, and prevent the infection. Okay, so this is another data telling us that particularly the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, no, yung mga epekto ng paninigarilyo, no, that's COPD, that when they will be hospitalized because of RSV, they can also be severe. So it is also related with exacerbation of your COPD because of RSV, and then napunta ka doon sa hospital, and then pwedeng ikamatay. No? So that's the message of this particular slide, that when you have COPD, it's not just about exacerbation. You can go to the hospital, and you can have a lot of this complication, even death as complication. Now, most patients with pneumonia, I think if you have experience with COVID, some of those COVID patients have long COVID. Familiar kayo sa long COVID? They have complications of the heart. They have complications related with the lungs. Nahirapan na silang maglakad, madaling hingalin, no? Yung mga heart nila may mga abnormalities may arrhythmia, so that's why they're on medications, no? And long COVID was so anong tawag niyan? Was so emphasized during COVID because maraming nagkaganon. Precisely because a lot of patients also had COVID, no? But we also had that with RSV. We also had that with influenza, longer complications. We just didn't realize that it has been emphasized with COVID. So may mga long-term complications then, effect of a viral infection. And this is something that when you have patients with RSV, yung lung function nila can also be affected to the point that they will not be normal anymore. Madaling hingali, no? Okay. Now, this is the other data with regards to heart failure. Okay? So, just to emphasize, only 57% of older adults with heart failure exacerbation during hospitalization because of RSV alive 1 year after hospital discharge. So nakita mo to? Only half or more than half, 57% are alive. So mataas din ang komplikasyon niya, just like COVID, that after a year, you have all these complications and you can die because of that long-term complications. So napaka-importante na makikita natin ito yung mga long-term complications because it does not only causes you to be hospitalized. You may recover from RSV, but you can have also long-term complications to the point that you can have multiple admissions sa hospital. Okay, so for those who have recovered also, yung functional status nila hindi na bumalik. No? So they are now more dependent on people to take care of them. Hindi na sila makalakad, hindi na maganda yung pag-iisip nila, and minsan they need somebody to feed them, to take care of them. No? So that's what we call the they lost the loss of independence after 6 months of from the recovery of RSV. So 1 out of 4 hospitalized patients with RSV will need home care after discharge. So ganun ang statistics niya. No? So that's still high because it's 1 out of 4. And 1 out of 3 patients hospitalized with RSV may die after discharge. Okay. So how will we diagnose, manage, and prevent? In diagnosis dito, you need a very important test to really tell you that you have RSV. Okay? And these tests are only available for the past 2 years. Kaya ngayon lang natin alam na meron talang RSV sa Philippines. No? Because in the past years, ginagawa niyan sa Department of Health is surveillance. Hindi kasama ang RSV sa testing because it was not part of that. No? But now, part of the Epidemiologic Bureau surveillance, if you look at how ILI are being reported now in hospitals, there is a laboratory reference lab in the Philippines we call RITM. No? So lahat ng mga na-admit because of a severe acute respiratory infection, or we call this SARI, they will send the specimen to RITM, and part of the test now is your RSV. But this is not readily available in most hospitals. Okay, so that's the challenge there, because even if you like to get an RSV test, it is not readily available. Management, there's no antiviral treatment. Yun ang medyo mahirap because even if you have a diagnosis of RSV in the hospital, Lenny and Sandy, that's our challenge. Anong gamot? So, we reflect back on telling our patients, sana pala na-prevent natin. Sana pala may mga bakuna pa before. But again, that's another thing, no? Because it's important for us to inform the patient that you have RSV. You have to communicate RSV is something that is not just taken for granted. Okay? So prevention is still the most important part in any respiratory viral infection, in any bacterial infection, because treatment and diagnosis will be challenging to us physicians. With that, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salante. It was a